Hello, Lieutenant Kayla Detmer here from Star Trek Discovery, here to ask you to join in with Commodore Ty to discover the world of pop culture. The adventure has begun.
Incoming message from Commodore Ty.
Hello, this is your Commodore Ty. Cole's here. Well, it's going to continue the pain right now. I am going to review Star Trek Discovery.
Black alert. Black alert.
This will be Season 3, Episode 3, People of Earth. So, we look at the story of Michael Burnham, that we get some quick flashbacks of what she did over the past year before Discovery showed up.
Become a courier. I transport goods in exchange for dilithium to keep exploring sector by sector, searching for clues as to what caused the burn. Answers that might help to bring the Federation together again.
But also it's interesting that she was giving up almost on her friends on Discovery.
If I did find you, I know it would be different. Because I am different. But I will always love you. I've had to accept I may never see you again. You can love someone and still let them go.
The same people that gave up everything to jump with her, which they didn't even need to do. If the data was in the suit, they could have sent the autopilot.
Heading 214 Mark 5. Initiate final signal upon closure of spatial rift. Then initiate self-destruct sequence. Activate propulsion. Now!
Beep, 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 beep. She finds them. And we get this lovey-dovey scene. Like, okay, she might not have seen him in a year, but Discovery just showed up. So technically, they saw her yesterday. Like, this is legitimately the moment right after they come from the 23rd century. So literally, they were in the 23rd century one day, next day, they were in the 32nd century. But the way that they acted, it's like, oh my God, we haven't seen you in a lifetime. They saw her yesterday. And I wasn't the only one that criticized this. Another great YouTuber, Anti-Trekker, saw this as well. So, of course, you got the lineup of, we miss you, Michael. So she tells him what happened.
But it appears that devastation flashed in an instant across all known space. I wish I could tell you how much of the Federation remains. But I did find part of a transmission from an obsolete Starfleet channel.
Doesn't this sound like another Gene Roddenberry show we heard of back in the day?
He is the last guardian of a fallen civilization, a hero from another time. Faced with the universe in chaos, Dylan Hunt recruits an unlikely crew and sets out to reunite the galaxies. On the starship Andromeda, hope lives again.
So it's Star Trek Andromeda. So they decide to head to Earth. And they use the spore drive so they don't signal the alarm on Earth. Because they're able to decode this message sent 12 years prior.
Bryce?
This is Admiral Senna Tal. I will wait for any who would join us on Earth. Anyone who still believes in us. Federation withdrawn, but waiting.
See at Starfleet headquarters?
So Michael's back on board, and she has a discussion with Tilly, and while watching the scene, it doesn't really do anything.
We haven't even had a chance to say goodbye to the friends we've lost. Not to mention my mom, my cousins, everybody back home.
But she's crying that she's missed, like, they left everyone they loved and cared about and their life behind to follow Michael. A, you chose to. B, why didn't you think of that before you left? You had a chance to stay. I know people ragged on this scene as well because Tilly said she missed her mother and stuff. I get it. She didn't have the best relationship with her mother. But it's still her mother. It's still family. But the way that they made the scene feel like, it didn't feel like we went with you because we care about you. No, it felt like more of a cult following their leader. Like, you sacrificed everything, and you said so, to follow Burnham. Burnham was ready to go by herself. You followed her. And to be honest, Burnham didn't even need to go, because again, they showed in episode 1, they could have set the suit on autopilot. They jumped to Earth. Book is amazed and didn't know about the spinniness.
Oh, shit. Hey, you didn't tell me about the spinning part.
Just a question, how do you know that they were spinning? And then they just jump outside of Saturn. And within moments, they reach Earth.
Approaching visual range, sir. There she is.
That is another scene that's raised many questions, because how did Discovery get to Earth so quickly? It was like almost instantaneously. They were at Saturn and then boom, they were at Earth. We've heard how far it is from a couple of sources. The first one was from the motion picture.
Captain's log, stardate 7412.6, 1.8 hours from launch. In order to intercept the intruder at the earliest possible time, we must now risk engaging warp drive while still within the solar system.
Then we also hear something very more similar, but it's from the Next Generation.
Enterprise now approaching Terran system, sir.
Slow to impulse. Time to intercept.
23 minutes, 14 seconds, sir.
So, people are going to point at the motion picture one because Discovery is more in that era than it is in the Next Generation era. But we hear this about impulse drive.
Impulse engine design hasn't changed much in the last 200 years. If it wasn't for all the structural damage, this ship still might be in service today.
Who would want to pilot an old bucket like this?
I don't know. If this ship were operational, I bet she'd run circles around the Enterprise at impulse speed.
So, overall, if they just added one additional scene, I think it would have flowed a bit better. Or one aspect to that scene to make it look like they weren't at Earth instantaneously. So, they reach Earth. Shields up. We got the military in charge.
I am Captain Ndoye of the United Earth Defense Force. Your vessel has violated regulations C-1922 and F-031 of the UE Charter by reaching Earth's perimeter. Leave immediately.
Their ship is boarded with, I find, a cool piece of technology that they advance the transporters where they become instant transporters.
Captain Ndoye, we will prepare for your arrival.
We are beaming aboard now.
Can't believe I'm actually giving Star Trek Discovery credit for something. So they're going around and examining Discovery. But before this all happened, they decided to store all their dilithium because of, again, what Michael Burnham said, that dilithium is in short supply. They put all theirs in Book's ship because it can cloak.
Book's ship can cloak our dilithium. It's the safest choice.
We cannot place our entire dilithium supply into the hands of a stranger.
We don't have another option, Captain.
So they're searching, and we're introduced to our newest character.
This science vessel's practically a museum. Okay, well, museums are cool, so that's what someone who lives in a museum would say. You live in a museum.
How old are you? 17?
16.
And they find out she sabotaged the ship,
Which is allowing it to block the beaming frequencies of the Inspector's personal transporters.
And there's a failsafe, so if we try to disable it, our shield systems will shut down too. It's gonna take hours to find a workaround.
I knew that Queen Menace was up to something.
and we find out Starfleet and the Federation are no longer there. So Earth learned to become self-reliant.
And all we want is to check in with Starfleet Command.
You have been away a long time. I'm afraid you won't find what you're looking for here.
The Federation and Starfleet haven't been on Earth for 100 years.
Then we get these other beings come in, ready to steal the dilithium.
Federation vessel, surrender your dilithium immediately.
Scan us. We have no dilithium on board.
The speed with which you appeared in sensor range tells me something else. Surrender, or we will take what we need by force.
So, Discovery's caught in the crossfires. And I normally have liked Saru and his command decisions, but this one has to be questioned. And the only one that did was Detmer. It feels like she was the only one that had somewhat of a brain in her head at this moment.
Lieutenant Admiral, when Earth opens fire, we will take the hit.
Sir?
Move us into position, Lieutenant.
Wait, we just recovered. We don't know what their torpedoes could do.
Shields are at full capacity.
So from the people that gave us Star Trek 2009, you know what happens when an advanced ship meets an earlier ship.
Fire all phasers! Damage report.
Warp drive's been knocked out. Never seen anything like it.
And that was only about 100-year difference. This is a 900-year difference.
Sir, we've lost shields.
Divert all non-essential power. Get them restored as quickly as possible.
So, Detmer was proven right. And in dialogue, we do find out that they have quantum torpedoes.
That's got quantum torpedoes aimed right at us.
Earth hangs everyone out to dry.
And for people that want to know the power, this is the power of a quantum torpedo.
Locked on target. Fire.
Their defense systems are offline. They've lost main power.
And that was from a ship firing on another ship, and they're both from the same century. But again, Detmer felt like the only ones with brains in this episode, because with shields down, Saru continued to say to keep them in between the fighting.
Come around again, Lieutenant.
Captain, we have no shields to defend.
I have given my order.
Wouldn't that kill them? Like, I see Detmer wants to keep her life. And I remember something in the original series.
Sir, is illogical. It is suicide. Attempted suicide would be proof that you are psychologically unfit for command. If you don't veer off, I shall relieve you on that basis.
So Burnham and Book saved the day. No surprise there. Because it's Burnham. She's the bestest ever. We realize the other people that they're fighting with are humans as well. They're just wearing these wicked cool masks.
When we first scanned your ship, it was overcrowded. Strained beyond its means. Not a typical raider ship.
No explanation for them. Maybe it was something that they needed to wear to survive on Titan, because we hear some stuff about what happened to them.
An accident at our liquid hydrocarbon research base destroyed a third of our habitats. Wiped out our tillable soil. We've no long-range communications, no way to ask for help.
But, so they've been fighting for over 100 years, and a 5-minute discussion with Burnham and Saru and the people of Discovery, they decide to talk. So, they are allowed down to the surface, and the crew, minus Saru and Burnham, go and hang out under this huge-ass tree that they said they hung out under 900 years prior when they were studying at Starfleet Academy. Also, Discovery gets a new crew member, the one that sabotaged their ship.
You spoke with Adira.
She told me she can help you. She has my permission to remain on board your ship.
Thank you, Captain Ndoye.
So overall, I don't know what to think about this episode. There were aspects that could have made this a great episode, but the writing, I think, was just wrong with this. There were scenes that were added that didn't need to be added. The way that they have the crew worship Michael Burnham is making it cult-like. They ruined a good story idea with bad writing at the end of the day. So for your Commodore titles, live long and prosper. Hailing frequencies closed.
Black alert.
Thank you for watching the video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, watch one of my many other videos, and if you like what you see, you can support the channel by donating to my PayPal.
So for Commodore Ty, live long and prosper all, and for now, until next time, the hailing frequencies are closed.